Okay, I know it's past your bedtime, but I have an idea that can help you get sleep. I thought I could read you a bedtime story. That sounds good? Okay, well, I got you a very special bedtime story because it is October and I thought I would bring you something for the festivity of the month. And I brought you The Legend of Spookily, the Square Pumpkin. I love this story because it also has a movie. Did you know that? I've actually watched it. It's really fun. Okay, let's get started because I already love this book. Here we go. One day, in the pumpkin patch, the strangest little pumpkin hatched. Spookily wasn't like his friends. Where they had curves, he had ends. Spookily was different. He was odd. He was rare. Spookily the pumpkin wasn't round. He was square. While the round pumpkins had fun rolling around, poor Spookily sat there shaped all wrong. He tried and tried with all his might, but he couldn't budge. He just sat tight. Other pumpkins teased him because he was square. Spookily wished he was round and could roll everywhere. That is, until one night when they all discovered it's fine to be round when the weather is fair, but there are times it's better to be a square. Halloween was just a day away when a mighty storm blew across the bay. It tossed the round pumpkins to and fro. It snapped their vines, then off they'd go, bouncing left, slamming right, banging, banging. What a sight! Spookily sat there, filled with fright, but glad to be a square that night. This big picture. Suddenly, the fence gave way. 3 pumpkins rolled out and into the bay. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Spookily knew what must be done. It was up to him. He was the one. He teetered, he tottered, he tipped, he tried, and finally flipped. He was on his side. Again he tipped, again he flopped, again he flipped, and then he stopped. Right in the gap where the fence had snapped. He blocked the way. The hole was capped. All the pumpkins shouted, "Hooray!" Spookily the square pumpkin had saved the day. Then a pumpkin hit him with a whack. He thought his shell would start to crack. Then another one hit him with a thump. Then another one with a smack. And there he is, covering the hole in the fence. Then one by one, a ton of pumpkins piled on the stack, with a bang and a bash and a crunch and a crash, and then it all went black. All those pumpkins. At dawn, when the storm had stopped, the farmer came out and checked his crop. He picked his pumpkins up, one by one, and laid them out in the warm, dry sun. And when the last one was moved away, the farmer could see what had saved the day. An odd-shaped pumpkin, short and dense, was wedged against the broken fence. Its shell was bruised, its stem was too, but there was brave little Spookily, sitting straight and strong and true. Right then and there, the farmer knew of all the seeds he'd ever sown, Spookilies were the most special that he had ever grown. And the next year, when it was time to sow, he sowed those seeds in every row. He watered and weeded and watched them grow. And oh, that morning about mid-June, when the pumpkin patch began to bloom, there were tiny pumpkins everywhere, hundreds and hundreds, most of them square. All the colors. But some were cubes, and some were rectangular. Some were flat, and others triangular. There was a bed of bright red ones, and 2 rows of blue. There were polka-dotted pumpkins, and rainbow ones too. There were thousands of colors and hundreds of shapes. Oh, what a garden variety makes. Now every year on Halloween, Spookly's patch is quite a scene. People come from far and near to see what wonders grew that year. They stop, they gawk, they gaze, they stare. Then they pick a pumpkin that's round, triangular, or perfectly square. Now you may know the story of how Spookly grew. Maybe someday, if you tell someone too, they'll go tell someone who go tell another. And maybe one day we will all discover you can't judge a book or a pumpkin by its cover. Did that make you sleepy? Did that make you sleepy? I always love reading Spookly in Halloween month. And I hope you enjoyed it.